think we're live. I think we're live. Good, good, good. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited that we're doing this. And as you said, on a magical portal day.
We are having a magical portal. Let me put my notifications off. So I think I just got notified that we're live.
Good to know, Substack. Good to know.
Welcome, everyone. Happy Lionsgate from all around the world, which is such a beautiful thing about technology that we get to broadcast at these times and collect everybody who might be in our same frequency all around the globe.
Yes, yes, yes. It's very beautiful that we're connecting from all over the place. And yeah, that's the magic. So I think we can just jump in introducing ourselves. So do you want to start with introducing yourself and then I will go after you?
Okay. My name is Michelle Coutinho. Online, you'll find me everywhere, Michelle Infinity. WTF, what am I? I am always still figuring that out, but I just received a really good testimonial from a client that like talked about my work because she's a fellow practitioner. And I was like, oh, nice. This is
I know.
This really so she called me. She was like, I call myself a vocal empowerment coach because I'm a ceremonial singer. You can actually probably, well, you can't see it because of this.
Oh, yes, yeah. You're muted. You're muted.
And I sung in medicine ceremonies. That's funny that happened when I was like, but I was because I was touching my computer. So I'm an intuitive counselor and a spiritual advisor who knows how to see the soul of a person and where they are on their path exactly. My gift is this precision of someone's astral identity. And so I have people come into my field, and I feel like because my teachers, 100% my teachers, Joseph Campbell, Ram Dass, like the Bhakti yoga lineage, the Hindu cosmology, probably many lifetimes of Vedic study and mantra chanting and all of these things, these technologies, these yogic technologies that are precious. And as a Westerner, Armenian third generation American woman living in America during whatever spiritual weird age, I have like pieced together, and I feel that I'm on a mission. And it's wonderful that this got canceled when it was, because Lionsgate is in attunement with the wisdom of the star of Sirius, which I believe are the wisdom teachers, which I believe I come from. But I'm also from New York. You know what I mean? So it's like, I really wish that I could like make an Instagram channel where all I'm doing is like light language at the camera, but like there's something about my like upbringing and being that I just feel really in service to talking about consciousness, to teaching ancient lineages, to being very practical. So at the same time, I'm wild and I'm teaching women embodiment practices, and I'm teaching energetic channeling and like deconditioning from society's mask, which I think I have to a fault because I can't find myself in society no matter how much I try. And it's really wonderful because all the women who come to me, I always make jokes like they're better at business, they're better at fitting in, but sometimes at a detriment to their own wildness, to their own and a suppression of their wrath. And so I feel like I'm configuring people, not only who they are as a soul, but like how they find themselves in this landscape, and then what they need to step forward on their path. And all of that I coin under this vocal empowerment umbrella that I'm still listening and attuning, and then shamanically clearing people and helping them get out of their own freaking way so that more of their soul can come through. So that's who I am and what I serve.
I love it. I love it. I'm like, I feel like the way you were speaking was like full Leo vibes, and I'm just like, yes, I'm here for it.
I'm glad that I'm channeling we're on the right path with the Lionsgate. That's great.
I love it. I love it. I mean, my birthday is literally a week away, so like I'm all about like Leo energy.
Yeah. Okay. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So yeah, your work sounds.
Eclipse.
Sorry?
If it's a week away, does that mean it's during the eclipse? When is
Mine birthday's on the 16th.
Yeah, just a couple days. You're getting an eclipse birthday. That's a big whammy of energy. I got it a few years ago when the nodes were in Scorpio.
Ooh, okay, because I don't really know much about astrology, so if you have any like nuggets of information throw my way, I'm open to them.
means you're really opening a new chapter, and eclipses themselves, and this is good for anybody who might want to know this, they're
Yeah.
doorways, they're portals. And so it's like whatever life in the universe is either testing you with, or perhaps very clearly giving you a yes or a no
Yeah.
around. Listen to that, because it's almost like an assignment.
Yeah,
It's not
makes sense.
a negotiation. It's like your new chapter is this. So when it activates your sun, it's going to hit where your identity is, because
Yeah.
that's going to be like an initiation of your next chapter, which was a nice segue for you introducing yourself.
But okay, let's rewind. I feel like it's spot on because like with stuff that's happening in my personal life, without getting too deep into personal life on this live, I do feel like it's very much I'm getting a lot of like I feel like my angel guides are like really screaming at me rather than whispering. And it's like I'm getting very clear, like yes, no, this is it, this is not. And it's like it's very obvious. Like I feel like it couldn't be any more obvious if I tried. Like,
So blessing. I wish that my
yeah.
guides would tell me things like that.
Okay, I was blind to them a couple of years ago, so it's okay. But
No,
anyway, about you know,
we're in touch. They just I feel, what is that Spider-Man with great response? What is the Spider-Man thing?
I
With
don't know.
great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
That's how my guides like to handle me. They're like, you should know this already. I'm like, but I'm down here. I'm dense. I don't understand. I'm like, tell me, like, spell it out. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that.
See, I know this because I there was a couple of times where the lesson that I was channeling and going through was very obvious, but I was screaming to the universe and the void of where did I sign up for this? Because it's not easy.
It's weird, but introduce yourself first before we get deeper.
Uh, yeah, I feel like we're getting deeper already. So anyway, so I'm Agne. I'm the face behind the Wild Medeina, and my brand, my business, however you want to call it, it's all about women empowerment. It's all about women finding their inner wild, inner feral, inner crazy. And before we have like negative Nancy's jump onto me saying that, we don't need feral women. It's not just being crazy in the forest, screaming and chanting, right? It's about the way you present yourself. It's the way the way you have confidence, the way you show up in a relationship, the way you show up in the workplace, the way you show up for yourself, respecting yourself in your life, going for what after you want. How can be the huntress of your own life? How can you point that arrow and go for whatever you want, whatever you feel like you need in your life? And what I do in my work is we smash the conditioning. We smash the conditioning that you grew up with. Coming from Eastern European country, I'm very, very well aware of all the conditioning women have been through and how we've been silenced all the time, told to be quiet, to be, to smile, to not cry, to just be literally put in a box and have a label on it. She's a good girl. So my work is all about smashing that. Smashing that. We're not doing that. We're bringing out the wild, the crazy. And yeah, that's literally the essence of my journey, of my life, of my soul mission here, I would say. And yeah, that's very briefly about me.
I love that. I love that. I love that. In my work, and we don't have to go here right away. Did you say you have a partner? I remember
Yes.
you saying male or female, may I ask?
It's a male, yeah, it's a male.
Yeah. Do you find, because I've been tracking this, and this is going way tangent, but based on what you shared, I shared a podcast recently where we're talking about, do you know about polarity and masculine feminine
Yes,
relationships?
yeah.
Okay. So I think that there's a complication in the framework of polarity. They teach that, ooh,
Ooh, what's happening?
I got blessed with the framework of polarity. In
I've never seen that happen before. What is that?
I'm supposed to be talking about this. Um, magic, literal magic on the Lionsgate out of my hands.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
in the framework of polarity, they talk about a woman's receptivity, because we have that so deeply in our channel, in our physical body, in our orgasm, in the way that we invite
Yeah.
life. And the yin is the ebb, and then the flow out is the yang. And so I feel like there's a misnomer, a miscomplication, that in order to be this wild, feral woman, you lose what it also is to be a devotional partner, right? And so I have this concept of mutual worship in my
Yes.
life. My and so I'm wondering if you, where it's like, if I honor you as you are the divine and I receive honoring as I am the divine, then we are, in
We're good.
solids. We're good. Everything's fine, and it's possible. And I feel a lot of women on the internet nowadays, everything that you said, they reclaim this power, quote
Yeah.
unquote, but it's almost like a superficial form of it where it has to be defended
Yes.
versus
Yeah.
where they're like, okay, well, I'm not going to be the good girl. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this. So that means that you're going to submit to me, whatever it is, whether it's the world or and that I don't think is authentic. I don't think it's
Yeah.
helpful. And I don't think it's relational. And I was even just talking to a really sweet, young, but one of my soul friends, and he's 29 and he just entered a new relationship. And he
Hmm.
was talking about how her wounds were creating this field. He didn't say that, but I could see that
Yeah.
from
Yeah, I know.
and
It's
I
a bit.
yeah, and she's Brazilian and da da da. And I was like, oh, but she's like 10, 12 years younger than I am. And I was telling him, and I was like, listen, when I was 38, like just a few years ago, I'm 42 now, just felt initiated enough into my own power that I could choose to surrender and soften to the leadership of a man. So that's how long it took for that work in my own life to heal the
Yeah.
wound. And so anyway, so speak about that in your world. And also if you want to talk about your partner, that how you've danced with being wild and also being able to be in healthy relationship.
I feel like I mean, we did say that the whole conversation about this live is gonna be like, wild feralness, but whichever way, shape, I don't know, way it's gonna go, it's up to us and the universe. And I feel like this is a brilliant topic to talk about. I'm like literally getting excited. Like I'm just, before we hopped on this live, I said that I'm a little bit low energy because I'm on my bleed, but like I feel like I can conquer the world now. But anyway, coming back to what you said, I feel like let's talk about this topic. I feel like let's dive deep into this topic. And it's interesting because like let's backtrack. So my whole life, I'm gonna be 31 next week. So my whole life I've been very over masculine, like very like high achiever, very like boss babe, very much like I'm daddy's girl. So I was like raised to be like, you need to do everything yourself, you need to be, oh, I have goosebumps saying that. I was like very much, you need to be independent, strong, don't ask for any help, you can do anything, you don't need anyone and everything, which to a degree it is good because it taught me so many things. But when it came to relationships, in my previous long relationship, it was very damaging because I wasn't giving the space for my previous partner. I wasn't giving him the space to be the man because I was always overbearing, over, I don't know what other word, overbearing, I think that's the best word. And then when I met my current partner, he's very grounded masculine, very grounded masculine. And he's also much older than me, so I think that plays a part as well. And
Mm.
him like having that beautiful balance of him being so grounded masculine, I feel like I've never felt more alive and like feral wild, but also I'm so soft as well. And like it's just, oh, I have goosebumps saying that. And it's just the most magical thing because I remember when my man was saying, look, because like when we met, I didn't have this business yet. I was still like in the process of creating it. And when we moved in together, I remember him saying, you pour everything that you want into your business, like heart, soul, money, whatever. I will take care of everything. You
Ah,
like I want, yes. I know. And he was saying to me that
find
like,
me.
sorry, what you were saying?
I said, find me. May this love find me. I'm here. Hello.
Well, it's 8-8 portal, so we're
Mwah.
putting it there. But what I was saying, like, he literally said, I'm gonna take care of everything, like around the house, everything. You just do that. And he was saying that he was, in his words, he was saying that he's the armor, like he can take care of everything, but I can be my most feral in my business of empowering women. And that made me, like, as you said, like, it just made me like flop. And I was just like, yes. And that doesn't mean that I'm being submissive to him. That doesn't mean that he's the head of the house and he's making all the decisions and everything. No, it means that I'm happy for him to lead the house stuff, right? He's the man, he's everything. But I'm bringing the passion, the love in the relationship, right? And like it's because he's so healthy, grounded, masculine, I can be soft feminine when I want, but I can be very feral and crazy wild, and it's just well,
Well, bless that man. Bless that man. And
yes,
I think that's the mistake, that when women are on their journeys of reclaiming their own authority against the conditioning of the patriarchy as a whole, they
yeah,
are blending that collective framework, collective cage, let's call mind net, like a spell of the mind. I think Donna
yes,
Ruiz said, like a mind virus. There's a mind virus in the particularly like white patriarchal capitalist male,
yeah,
that literally in my work I talk about it around the demonization of the dark feminine, which like
yeah.
I would say I'm a representation of. Like I everything about me, I'm Scorpio, Italian, Brazilian, Armenian. I mean, like everything about
Oh,
me is like fucking witch. Like it just is, right?
we love it.
And also the masculine, our relationship to the earth, to nature, and the separation and the overtaking of power, and then also how we treat each other as nations. It's all
Yeah,
about power over, power under, and there's a heartbreak I feel in the soul of the world around like the wound between this masculine and the feminine. Now, as the feminine has taken her power back through the feminist movement, and you're talking to a woman who, when she was 20, was a part of like the progressive majority and the feminist council in college. And my roommate had a shaved head and she was in charge of the feminist alliance. And we would stand on the side with
mm.
flyers about like big posters about like abortion. And we wrote "fuck the penis party" on the wall of the cafe where because we had like a window pane that we could paint, and so we painted it, and that's what we wrote on the thing. And they're like, "You have to remove the E and the I from penis." And I was like, "Okay." So we
No, we're not
had
doing
the
that.
and the woman sign. So I really, and I dated women like for a big time in my life. So like I really went full swing into embodying for me it wasn't anger, but like that authority, that reclamation of like
Yes,
feminine empowerment was like in my like walk, my journey for years, for a really long time. And then, like I said, it took me till about my late 30s to organize and integrate into this way. And I'm
yeah,
primarily heterosexually oriented now, not only in a way of like being physically attracted to men, but kind of in this like understanding what full surrender is for my feminine being. And
yes,
I
yes,
think what you're talking about is with the privilege of a man, and there are many of them. And when you grow up like I did with this abusive, my father's like a Trump character, like just fucked up in so many ways. And you and used and I'm sorry I'm cursing so much for anybody who's
it's yeah,
sensitive to that, but I'll try to do better. But the just the using religion and patriarchal conditioning, and through fear of the feminine, through their own fear of the feminine, so much trying to take over the feminine,
yeah,
and me understanding and learning what the healthy masculine looks like through so many different initiations over 20 years, more my whole life, and then understanding the joy of sovereign surrender and feeling what that feels like in my body, to
yeah.
actually know what healthy masculine devotional energy feels like. And everything we were just doing, where we were like swooning, like, oh my god, okay, like this is great. And like
But
really loving that. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I mean, like everything that you were saying, I was like, yes. But also, like, I feel like I want to also point out, and this is what I see in my clients as well, that I really don't want women to go from one extreme to another. Like
Mhm.
and what I speak in my work as well is like finding your wild, meaning that you yourself can find the inner masculine and the feminine, because the wild woman has a beautiful blend, right? And I always cite huntress archetypes. It's a beautiful blend between, going for a hunt and then also nourishing your cubs or babies or whatever. It's all about that. And then because like if I wouldn't have changed, I'm pretty sure that like my current relationship would have been the same as my last one, because like if I wouldn't have made connections, understanding, pattern recognition, and actually like going through like figuring it out basically what's what. But because I did all the homework, right? Homework, I understand that if I can embody both and I can find a healthy balance between I don't have to do everything on my own, I can find my sisters, my sisterhood, where I can lean into a lot of like emotional support and everything, and also, like red tent vibes, and also I can, I'm grounded with my actions, right? I'm showing up as how I want my best self to show up. Then my partner can see me as a whole, and then that's
Mm.
the like because I'm like that, then my partner can embody both as well, because my partner, he has his feminine side as well. I mean, I feel like he cries more than me, but like
Ooh.
I'm welcoming that because I grew up with a dad who never cried. I think I've seen my dad cry like maybe once in his life. And I like, I mean, when my partner, we got engaged in May, when he proposed, he was crying more than I did. And I was like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "I'm just really happy. This is like really happy tears." And I had to stop myself. I'm just going off the trail here, but what I'm saying is that like I had to like stop myself again to actually see my man in his divine feminine at that time, because it was a lot of emotions, right? And I was making sure that I was creating the space for him to share those emotions. So it's all about, it's the beauty. It's I really don't want us to say that like divine masculine is bad or divine feminine is bad. No, neither of them are bad. It's the beautiful blend of them. And then like if you want to be with a partner, if it's a he or a she, doesn't matter. Whichever energies they embody more. And how can that help you support and growing and being in the relationship? That's what I really wanted to share.
Yeah, and what you're saying is really important because this is true, is that so in the beginning you started and you spoke about how the integrity of your relationship is based on you being in your feminine and almost the agreement that you have and the structure of the relationship, but often the way that you show up really comes back to who you were when you grew up, which
Yes.
is like and I love that that dance is this is a nuance that I wish could be translated more on social media and ripple out, because I think people really have missed that beauty of, and this is what I call tantra. And I know that word has so many,
Yeah.
that this is not tantra, this is tantra, blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
I have a very, I think, intuitive, like I said, I feel on a soul level, I've had a lot of Eastern past lives. So I have like this crazy connection to Tibet. Like I like the
Ooh.
and all these things, and like there's like and I've had like transmissions from Guru Rinpoche, and I had like this whole otherworldly, I guess I could tell a story if I wanted to, but like this whole other world. I was celibate for 5 years. I'll just speed through the story. Celibate for
Mhm.
5 years after one of my major relationships, which is not normal for a girl in her 30s. And I was going
Yeah,
through a
it's
lot of,
different.
yeah, I was going through a lot of activations. I was drinking medicine at the time with ayahuasca. I had some of the most spiritual years of my life during this time.
Mhm.
And then I met a soulmate who already had children and wasn't meant to be with me in my life, but really taught me what devotional love is at the end of that 5 years. But I also had a lot of what is that called when you're pushing aversion? I was afraid of sexuality in a certain way. I had like a very sexual, not promiscuous because I was in a relationship, but like a very deep sexual container when I was super young. And then with both male and female at the same time,
Mhm.
actually. I was in a throuple when I was very young, and it was just like
Ooh.
these are vibes of like a dakini and like what I'm like a sexual priestess. Like I wouldn't know this when I was, early. Yeah. So, but it's just like this embodiment. Okay. And then this break as I went into like this really monk archetype of my soul and my
Yeah.
being. And in that space, I felt so clearly that all of the festival dudes that I was like surrounded by were like not pure enough for me to like
Yep.
be in concert with in my temple. And then I went to Guatemala. There's a place called San Marcos, which is like this big expat hippie vibey place.
Mhm.
And I was Ista is a sexual shamanic. They have like a lot of shadow in their stuff that people have written
Mhm.
stuff like how not the best organization, hit and miss kind of with the people. But anyway, one of the teachers who I really like, Araminta, she was co-leading this astrology retreat, and we went through all these different things. And there was a moment where like spirit like fully came into the temple, and everybody kind of went into a trances on their own. And there was a window over the lake, and I was dancing in the window. And this very like I have a statue. I'll just show it. This is from Bali, so it's not the exact same, but this is the energy that I'm.
Ooh.
This is Balinese. This is a little bit different, but it was a Dakini energetic, and it was like this temple dancer woman sexual priestess vibe, and it like came into me, and it merged, it blended with this like monk that I felt like I was, that had been kind of like my entire energetic emotional body for X amount of time. And then they harmonized, and I had not really understood, but then I looked at, like, you know, the beings that are, look, I'm pulling out all my statues. I feel like it's show and tell. It's not yab yum, but you know when you see a little being like sitting like this, and
Yeah.
then there's woman on top, like a smaller figure, and they're like hugging. That's like yab yum, where it's like if I
Yeah.
was sitting on the lap of this person and going like that, and they're sexually fused together. And then if you also look, actually, I have it right here. Oh my God, I'm such a nerd. Look at all this stuff. And then, so that's what that is
Look
right
at
here.
that. Yeah.
And then, so that is the sacred yab yum between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And that like happened in me. And then I had to like look what that is. And then that is Guru Rinpoche, which is this like enlightened master that came in the 8th century. And then also the Dakini is the feminine muse, and they're paired together. And it's a weaving of
Beautiful.
masculine and feminine energy. Yeah. And so, anyway, that's my share.
Wow. Wow. That's so interesting. Oh my God, that's so interesting. But it's funny that you're mentioning all of that because I got a while back, I got a book about tantric sex. I think it's
Yeah.
called Tantric Magic Sex, something like that. And I tried reading it, but I was in the wrong headspace for it because yeah, it was a couple of years back. And now I feel called to it. And then I was looking into buying some books about like divine feminine, divine masculine, like the tantric stuff. And then you started talking about it. I'm like, that's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence. I need to dive in more into that.
And that's what I mean about like I haven't done a lot of research. I've had a lot of lived experience. And because I'm primarily an energy healer, like the partner that I spoke about who came to me, we were together for a few years, and then we parted, and we stopped talking, and then we've been friends since. And it's like, I know what sacred love feels like, because, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate with this, like where you've met a soul that the amount of time you've spent with them in person, but the bond that you have, they like don't, there's no real reason why, or like you can feel them inside you in certain ways where you're like
Yeah.
lit up. Yeah. And it's just amazing. But you also know that you're like not meant to be together in this lifetime, you know? And so that was
Yeah.
a real initiation for me in my 30s about what soul love feels like. And I really was calling
Beautiful.
on it, and I really needed that. And yeah, it's really interesting also because I feel like I live in that cloistered way because I really can't, my guides or whoever's in charge of my life, like even when I try to date casually and stuff like that, it just like won't it just doesn't work. It's like I can
Yeah.
either have full tilt soul union or nothing.
Yes, yes. I mean, I feel like I'm the same. Like I feel like my whole life I was like I want to like date to marry. Like I feel like I was like longing that like
Mm,
depth of it. And like my previous relationship, I was in that relationship for 7-ish years. I can't remember now, 7-ish years, and that was like my longest relationship because I was in my 20s. And I thought that like, well, this is like, you know, you date to marry and then like you get married and then you just go, you know, you just do all the things. And I was like unhappy because I just felt unfulfilled, like we just wanted different things. But the reason I'm saying this is because I really resonated with what you said. I felt like the time for that my ex relationship, I feel like the time has passed where this person fulfilled the mission in our time together. I feel like
yeah.
he was a really good grounded presence for me when I needed him. But then I just have goosebumps saying that. Whew, I feel like he was really like he was very valuable to me, like, you know, in my early 20s and everything. But then we just wanted different things, and it was a very like natural path to separate ways. And then like my current partner, we got astrology reading done together because I don't know anything about astrology. Like I know the basics of it, but that's it. And we got astrology reading done together. No, not astrology, sorry. Not astrology, Akashic records done together. And the lady said that we are connected in like my current partner and I were connected from the past lives, and that his soul clinged onto mine because we have to activate each other. And I was like, yeah, that feels like my relationship. That feels like it. So it's just wild, and it's I don't know. The whole thing's wild.
Yes, and I agree with you. And so we're on this portal day of the Lionsgate, and that is something that in my own journey in my soul that I wrestle with. So, and I'm trying not to wrestle because I want to be I teach a program actually. It's funny. So I teach a program from March to like the September equinox, and it's called
Hmm.
Surrender. But the journey, and it's because of this principle that I was just pointing at, meaning like I want to be a vessel for God, make me an instrument for healing. That's a big part of my work. I'm a channel,
Yeah.
and my initiations have been really fierce, and people can go to my content and stuff to hear about all of those things. And so, but the program itself goes through maiden, mother, crone, stag, father, sage, and I do embodiment rituals for the masculine, feminine, and
Hmm.
the why is because throughout my journey of coming into power, the integration between my inner masculine and feminine has been such a really important piece
Yes.
of that. And also this happening on the inside of us before we come into sacred union with another person, very important. I also would like to say, like, imagine if what we're talking about with relationship, like your soul knows this other soul. I think that's a big piece of who I am and why I often feel unmet in our world is because
Yeah.
I feel like my landscape, because of Ram Dass, because of my teachers, because of my whoever the hell I am as a soul, I feel like I see that perspective that we like, almost like a yogic perspective, like we are souls, we are on a journey. That is my embodied spiritual path in my life. I do not see that people treat each other like that, especially in the spiritual community. And then even
Yeah.
more in the entrepreneurial spiritual community, it's a lot of like agreements and networking and personality popularity contests. And I don't want to plug in to that, but it's so much of a scene. We have created a
Yeah.
scene where we're not connecting with each other as beings.
Deeply
And
lovely.
imagine if we, as the spiritual community, did that with each other, where we actually brought in reverence. And that's really like my missing ingredient for life. And also, as I'm speaking this out loud, I need personally, and I'm doing a course called Psychic Summer School. I've got like 10 days left to promote it, and I'm really not the best marketer at all, but I love
Neither of
doing
us are. Neither of us are.
I love doing my courses and my rituals. But the point is, and I'm doing a giveaway today, but I'm literally like writing the post right now on Instagram to put out because I'm giving away a seat with me, VIP one-on-one, if you want to work with me for 3 sessions plus do this class. But the class is about practicing. And that's the point that I'm trying to get to is like, as I'm speaking about like, we need more reverence. And this is like literally what I wrote on the page for the course is like, you're a teacher and you're so good at telling other people what to do, but you don't do it. And literally as I'm talking to you right now, I'm like, we need more reverence in our life. And I was like, I need more reverence like in my day-to-day. So I'm like literally teaching what I need to learn like real time and watching it and be like, I need to wake up and like, I should read from this book. I should pray. I should da-da-da. And I do. And I have for like 25 years, like done all these things,
Yeah.
but there's an intimacy. There is like an on your kneesness. There's like when it's the same as fucking, like that you can get to, or you can have superficial casual sex, or you can like be
Like
like
deep.
completely taken. And it's the same with our practices, our spiritual practices. It's like I do my meditations, but I still stay. I want to do a Vipassana retreat later this year. You know what I mean? Because I
Ooh, yeah.
fucked in my mind by like the divine consciousness so I
Yeah.
can being myself. And I think we all want that, and that's also that grace of that feminine surrender. It's like, take me out of this like ego that I'm holding on to so that I can actually feel what it is to, and that's when I am teaching and channeling and singing and holding space. That's the closest that I feel, because that's my dharma. So
Yes, yes. Oh my God, yes. I mean, how many times I said like yes when you were talking, like just yes. And I feel like again, like it brings to what I said before as well, is that we need to find their inner feminine, inner masculine in ourselves. And it's not
100%.
like, even though me and you are teaching that, it doesn't mean that we're like on this pedestal that we've done it all and we know what to do. Like we're not. Like we're literally in the messy middle of figuring it out. Like, you know, it's just like, yes, sometimes I am still coming back, like as I pointed out, like sometimes I'm still coming back to my previous conditioning of like being too masculine, being too rigid and being too harsh and like forcing timelines and forcing outcomes and like controlling things. And I need to
Mhm.
keep reminding myself that like, look, this is not the way forward. Like I know in my soul that this is not the way forward. And it's just a matter of like practicing and practicing and practicing. And also another thought that jumped into my head as well about what you said about like connection. Again, like it's all about connecting and actually feeling that sisterhood again and
Yeah.
understanding each other and seeing each other as like again like friends and sisterhood rather than like a whole competition thing, boss babe culture where I'm gonna cut the throat, you know what I mean? Like we're not doing that again. Like it
Oh, people
happened.
are still doing it. It just happened to me with one of my close, like I had a friend of me that I was like a whole thing. And she's so hot. And like we look alike and I'm like, you're so hot. Like, why are you
Why
mad
do
at me? You're like, you
I have questions, but okay.
you should just relax.
But yeah, so like what I was saying, just like yeah, as long as like we keep like what's the message that keeps coming through to me now is like we keep practicing that divine femme, divine masculine balance in us, and then like we can show up in like we can show up then very what's the word authentically. We can show up authentically then in our relationships or people that we want to attract, and the same with like partnerships, like business partnerships or friendships. That's I feel like that's the message that keeps jumping at me, that I keep want to repeat the same thing.
You know what I just realized too, like in a download as I spoke that, it's like, hold on, like there's a transmission coming through around this. So many beings. Okay, when we talked about the mind virus at the beginning about like the
Yeah.
patriarchal split, there's also a mind virus around lack. I can see this in my own life. I could see it in the woman I just spoke to. Is like
Hmm.
their territorial, insane behavior that doesn't make sense, that divides women from each other, is
Yes.
this, and it does ripple down from that patriarchal conditioning because it said I've done a lot of research on the witch wound, and it says
Hmm.
when the church and the this and the woman and all of these things were separated and demonized, there was this fight about like the women needed to call out the other women and be against each other,
Yeah. Yeah.
that it really wounded, and there's this pain there. I can see it actually energetically right now like a thread. There's this pain of the shadow side of the feminine,
Hmm.
or whether she will be chosen, or if there's enough love for her, or if
Yeah.
she's okay. And when the women are wounded in that way, they forget their power, and they
Yes.
forget that power is infinite and it comes through us endlessly. And there's no reason why you need to be territorial or grab for it, but they are hungry ghosts, as the Tibetans would say, and they are needing
Yeah.
um, constantly be fed. And it's literally like they're creating an own entity or attachment that's trying to feed and feed and feed, and therefore getting triggered by women who aren't playing that game or who are in their power authentically, which I tend to trigger people. And I think it's because, number one, I have two things. I have an ego that puts me under instead of over a lot of the time.
Hmm.
And I also have this like, and that's just from trauma and abuse. Like it's not because I'm a great person. It's just like, and then I also feel deeply like Michelle Infinity, my screen name for all these years, is really and my mission is to anchor the infinite in everything, to show people. And this is from my Pisces moon. It's like this connection that we have, that everything is connected, that everything is all, it's all really all one when we come to the fabric of reality, but
Yeah.
not like non-dual bypassy, like, oh well, if they're God and da, da, da. You still have to have discernment, and you still have to have boundaries, and you still have to operate, but beyond all of the drama, there's a field of love that we can attune with and be
Yes.
in forgiveness and compassion. And that compassion is like a fierce fucking force field that makes you a badass warrior of the light. And I think that people just don't understand that for some reason.
I mean, we still need to do a lot of like untangling, right? Like a lot of untangling, a lot of like going deeper and like, what is this actually? And like, yeah,
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
figuring out like where I stand, because again, like coming back to what I just said, like we need to still like stop and think like, oh, am I actually contributing to this issue or not? Because like sometimes I can feel like, I can see like a woman succeeding and I'm like, oh, like, okay, well, what she has done, what I haven't done. And it's like I'm trying to like pick my brains of like what have I done wrong or what I haven't done that I'm not there. And it's like, no, 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 like no, no, no. Well, let's backtrack. Like let's just it's not that. And it's like, it doesn't happen often now because I feel like I've done a lot of healing, but it
Mm,
still creeps up. I feel like it still creeps in, and it's like, how can we like stop, breathe, and listen? Like there's love everywhere. There's a lot of opportunities for everyone. This is the way forward. Like this is the new way forward, and this is the good way forward. And then
can I ask,
again, everything brings back.
can I ask you something? Because I want to unpack something. This is just me being a total nerd. Okay. Because we're talking about that comparison thing. Okay. So you know how I said my ego goes under?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious because I want to know psychologically if other people have this like piece. So you're saying like, why does this woman have this thing that I don't have? Do you make it personal to the woman?
In
Or
which way?
so let me tell you what I
Yeah.
do. Okay. So when
Yeah.
I compare myself, and it could be anybody, like they're doing this and they're doing that,
Yeah.
I think about the person having the thing. I don't like that
Yeah.
doesn't register to me. I don't make it about the person. I make it about what the fuck is wrong with me that I can get my shit together. And that's the thing. And I wonder if that's a different but same thing, that different depending on how if your ego like would put yourself like because our egos put ourselves above people or under people. So, and you have more will. You said you're more masculine. I would say I'm
Yeah.
opposite. My third chakra is like I need more will, 100%. I'm more like, woo, like let's go. I can fight. I'll fight you. I'm a warrior, but like my will is
Yeah.
like whooshy whooshy. I'm very much like an
So
artist.
it's interesting because no one has ever asked me that. And it's really interesting, like you're making me question, and I do want to journal about this after we finish. But the first intuition answer that I got, it's not about the person. It's about what the for me it's like, okay, let me backtrack. It's not about the person, it's about the journey that they went through. And like
Oh,
what am I doing wrong or what I haven't done that I haven't gotten like that I haven't climbed that mountain to be where they are. Does that make sense?
yeah, it's about your will. It's about your achievement. I'm seeing like a goat going up a mountain. Is like I want to
Yeah.
achieve that thing too. Like
Yeah.
you're wanting achievement and accomplishment. And there's a book called The Big Leap, and it talks about like the 5 core human wounds. And like the
Hmm.
worst one to have is like the what is wrong with me, is something wrong with me. And like I have that one. And I think that's because like it's for me, like I stick out because I have a lot of Shakti. So like when I come into a room, like I can see like people are like either like really polarized and are like that,
Yeah.
or they what's weird is they bow. You know what I mean? Like I'll either get
Good.
like people like hate me, ignore me, like push me to the side, or people look at me and kind of go, like, I see you. And I'm like,
Like you're the crazy one and we like you.
this is a very strange life earth experience. What, we got a question?
Yeah. Michelle, do you think that's a thought? What you learned, you were less, others' opinion, and took it down as your own. Oh, that's an
Okay, let me
interesting
start with
question.
this. Michelle, do you think that's taught though? That you learned you were less others' opinion? And well, my father was emotionally abusive. So I think that when I work with clients who have received abuse, and when we do not perpetuate that abuse outwardly, we turn
Mm.
that abuse inward on ourselves and create a personality construct that then we and that's why I ended up being an empowerment coach, no? And it's like I feel like in a deep, deep way, my assignment and my prayer. My mother is an Armenian woman who has oracular abilities, is psychic, and has experienced her karma. Like I won't go into it, but very like the amount of abuse and craziness that she suffered through is intense.
Mm.
And then she comes in, I have a warrior daughter. My father's genes, like if my father wasn't a nutcase, and I shouldn't use the word nutcase because I'm sure that'll offend people, but that's I can talk about him in that way. But if it wasn't like a patriarchal asshole who's like abusive, who he is as a being and what he
Mm,
comes from and carries is fucking majestic, like no lie, right? So I've had to
mm,
like parse through these things, but I feel like with great power comes great responsibility. Like I've
yes.
been shaped to serve this particular wound, which is really powerful women who have forgotten their power because of what they've experienced in their life. And it's
Yeah.
happened to me, and I've had to be initiated through these things. And also, I'm still like a little parentified as a child, like holding my mother and reminding her of her power. And it's just us against the world. And like, we've got this together. So a lot of it is really my spiritual assignment that has birthed my healing work, which, if I'm being completely transparent and honest, whenever God graces me with the partner that we're talking about, where
Yeah.
they're like, put down the thing, I've got you, like that would be a huge part for me to be like, wow, I'm held in this feminine. Now, what I think is happening also spiritually is that that's not happening, because what I think my shamanic mission is with my guides and my guardians is that they want me to feel that without the actual human. They want me to feel that with my relationship between the divine and
The
God.
the inner harmony. Yeah.
And I feel like I still wrestle with that because there's so much survival and so much. It's tiring for a woman who's like primarily
Yeah.
feminine oriented to be a holder of other people. And ironically, that's who most of my practice is: nurses and teachers and women who fucking hold everything, or women who have leaned too far in their masculine, and they come to me and I'm integrated. I'm holding them in a shamanic
Yeah.
container, but I'm also letting them soften, and like I'm also this witchy, otherworldly character that they get to express that feminine part of themselves with. And so I don't know the medicine of why all these things are, but like that's what I'm tracking that my life has turned into.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That we have Lucy said something else. I think that's all of us. Our wounds are our spiritual assignments. Yes. Your
Percent.
partner is coming, I feel. Allow him to come, to be open to him and make space for him. Ooh, yes, feeling that. Sending you those vibes. Yeah.
Lionsgate manifestation. I'll say one more
Yeah.
thing. I know we're over time, but you know what? I want to say one more thing about that manifestation on the Lionsgate. So for all of us,
Yeah.
manifestation on the Lionsgate is really important. Long story short, I got initiated, psychic attacked by a shaman and his wife, the Dark Night Soul, and the music. It was like a really crazy thing. If you'll hear me on other podcasts, I talk about it, or I'll probably talk about it till the end of my days, whatever. The next year, I was invited into an ayahuasca plant medicine ceremony, and I was healing. And this woman had heavy metal poisoning, and she was writhing. And the people who were running the ceremony were like, "We don't know what to do." And something came through me, and it was the force of command. And it was like, I feel like my spirit guardian, you know how we have like a guardian spirit, like guide?
Yeah.
I feel either me, but it's like this Native American grandfather, like shamanic, like figure.
Yeah.
It's me in the, oh, I just saw a sparkle in the air when I spoke about that. Was cool. I usually don't talk about this, but that's a good sign that's cool. So I don't know if that is my other half in like the astral, that's like my protector. I don't know if that's me in the astral and like a
That's
part of
interesting.
you're in a part of, right? It's like very interesting. I'm like, is that so? Anyway, so that command through the Asatoma Ma mantra came into me, and I like cleared the energy of the room, and it was like Asatoma Sadgamaya. And like when we talk about the Tibetan frequencies, I'm not going to pronounce it right, but it's DJORE. It's Dorji or George, something like that. And it's a lightning bolt, and it's a lightning bolt of truth and command. And I felt that quake in
Like you're doing.
that was the Lionsgate of 2018. Then I put a prayer, and it's still on a board. I'm telling secrets, y'all. It's still on a board on my, like a whiteboard where you write with the markers. And I wrote it in 2018, and I wrote the prayer of what my vocal empowerment coaching practice has been for 8 years. 8. Oh my goodness.
That is crazy.
And I have manifested this coaching practice, and it literally says kirtan, mantra, yogic teachings, voice. Like you are a medicine woman, or what, I don't know what it says, but it says stuff like that. Like this is what
That's
you're meant to
powerful.
do. And I've had it for 8 years. I've just like let it. I put it under my altar. I have all these feathers from when I lived by Cape Canaveral. I used to collect these feathers, and so it was like that birthed. And I remember being like, I'm a healer. What is this word coach? Because that's when like it was coming, like everyone's a coach, right? 2018, right? I was like, I'm supposed to be a coach now. What is this? I was like literally figuring it out. And then I had a business training in 2020, right before the pandemic happened, that was like, this is what a high ticket coach is. This is what you do. And I was like, I can't charge that. And I was like, I couldn't give away a session for $100. Even like anytime I try to like discount my work, it doesn't work. But then if I'm like, no, it's this is my maturity. This is what it actually is worth. Like that's the energetic exchange. And I have built a badass, thank God, practice. And I'm so grateful. And let us pray like that. Also, the next chapter is coming in, and maybe I'll make a new board today about like my divine, and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully it won't take 8 years for that to mature. But
It's
anyway.
not. It's gonna come faster. Like something in me is telling you that it's gonna be much faster. I don't know. I
Yay.
just felt that.
Thanks for celebrating with me, everybody. That's so lovely.
Yeah, but I feel like, okay, I'm definitely going away after this call and doing my writing on my dream board and putting all the things out there for my business and for everything, because this sounds divine. So yeah. Anyway, really thank you for this conversation. It was incredible. I feel very charged with energy now. You've been incredible. You've been divine. You've been fire. And I feel like our energies are incredible together. So yeah, thank you for doing this with me.
My honor. May there be more. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm actually going to come on to Substack at like 2:30, and I'm going to sing.
Oh, thank you both for this conversation. Really needed to hear that you both shared. Thank you for listening. My journey, which I have been on to where I'm headed, also started in 2018. Wow, 8 years. And here we are on 8/8. Love you both. Love you. And yeah, celebrating everyone. And yeah,
Big hug.
all the good vibes. Yeah. Bye.